Hey guys, welcome back to Woods Tree Farm. We are selling some of our solar kiln dried firewood. I've got several orders to fulfill. We just posted online this morning and we sent out an email to our subscribers. I'll talk more about that in a minute or a few minutes here, but we basically didn't have any dry wood to sell until this batch of wood came out of the kiln. You can go back and take a look at some of our past videos if you missed it, but this winter we built a solar kiln, and that is proving to be an effective way of drying firewood, but it's a little slower than I thought it was going to be. For example, these crates of wood that I have sitting around me right now, we just pulled out of the kiln. These went in there in the middle of April. We're now almost into the middle of May. So over 3 weeks. Now, some of that time since the middle of April, we had 1 week, for example, where it was cloudy and it rained almost every day. So that was a pretty poor drying week. And when we're around, we're not here every day, but when we're around, we can fire up a wood stove in there, and the fans can circulate the wood stove air and heat it up a little bit, but it by no means can really power it better than the sun does. So we put 8 crates in the kiln back in the middle of April, and about half of those were from logs that have sat around since last year, so that wood was partially dried when it was split. The other half were green logs, and that wood was quite wet when it went to the kiln. And I still have a few crates in the kiln because that greenish stuff is still not dry. So we're gonna give it probably another week on those 5 baskets that are still in there. The kiln can hold 8 baskets, and I have pulled 3 of them out and started to fulfill some of the orders that I have. My wrapper ran out of plastic. Need to go get some more of that. We'll make some more bundles. We'll talk more about the firewood business, and I mentioned I would talk a little bit about our email subscribers because there's something I think a lot of firewood businesses need to do in order to kind of modernize, let's say that. So we made a couple bundles, and I'm gonna make a couple more, but I just fired up the wood stove because I'm gonna be leaving for the day. It's like 2 o'clock now, and as soon as that sun kind of crests past 3 o'clock, it's beyond kind of peak heating time for the day. And what I've come to kind of learn with this solar kiln is that the temperature kind of rapidly declines after the sun gets beyond its peak. And I want to try to maintain that temperature as well as I can. So this is about the time of day when I like to fire up the wood stove, and then I'm gonna head out for the day, so it will continue to heat into the evening. And what I've witnessed on the charts is that it will keep the temperature over 100 degrees sometimes to 2 or 3 in the morning. And I think that's really the goal, is to try to maintain that peak temperature as long as we can into the evening hours. Then tomorrow, actually, I will be back out here and I can try to get the temperature back up again, but I'm not always out here during the week, and that's why I built this kiln the way that I did. But without it, I wouldn't have any wood to sell right now. And it kind of brings me back to the point that I was trying to make at the very beginning, which is I run my firewood business in a pretty kind of modern fashion. My customers only order through my website. I don't take any cash orders. I don't do any pickup orders. I'm very busy, and it's easiest for me to deliver these orders on my schedule. And customers have kind of come to learn that they just order on my website, and within the next couple days I will get around to delivering it. If someone has a specific delivery window, they can request that on my website, and I'll do my best to try to meet that window. But usually customers are pretty good with just a drop and go kind of scenario, especially on these smaller orders. If it's just a couple bundles or something, drop it on the front porch or drop it by the garage or wherever's convenient, and you're on your way. But a couple minutes ago, when I said some firewood businesses I think need to modernize, what I was referring to is not just the ability to take an order on a website or to take credit cards or whatever. What I really mean is kind of the whole package of how you treat customers and how you set expectations, and then also how you continue to market to customers. So we use a company called Square. It's actually free. Anyone can sign up for it and accept credit cards. That is, if you're a real business. If you're just a guy doing this for beer money, you're going to want to get a little bit more formalized or something. But we use Square to accept credit cards. Square has built into their platform the ability to set up an online store. We use that. And then in their platform, they also have an add-on, which has a small monthly fee for some email marketing and some other services. So what I could do, now that we've been doing this a couple years, is I could go into Square and I could basically run a report for every customer who's ever ordered firewood from us, because we also use Square on the farm here for the Christmas tree farm and when we're doing flowers and other things. But I could filter out all of those past firewood customers, and I could send just them an email and say, hey, we have dry firewood available. If you want to get on the order now, go ahead and submit your order online. I sent that out this morning at 8:30 in the morning, and before lunchtime I had several $100s worth of orders. That is extremely powerful, and if you're not doing something like that, I think you're missing out a huge opportunity. I've got a lot of customers too who in the past several years have gone to order repeat orders of firewood from me and found out that I'm sold out. So I think I have a lot of customers who are kind of well groomed to, you got to order when it's available, and if you don't, you might miss out. So when I send out a notification and say we got firewood that's just out of the kiln, it's ready to go, people are ready to snatch that up. And another thing is, there's always an opportunity for an add-on sale, no matter what kind of business you have. And last year I started making these actually to sell in our little like gift shop when we're open for Christmas. These are fire starters. Let's see how well that comes out. And it's just like a little wax cup with some not sawdust, but little shavings, wood shavings in it, and pretty simple to make. There are companies out there that make things like this commercially. We've done tests on this and they burn for 10 to 12 minutes easy. It's a great little fire starter. The wind doesn't really blow these out easily, so it's pretty effective, and they're not difficult to make. I'll probably do a video on making these, though I've seen other videos on YouTube of the process, and you know, my video wouldn't be much different. But if you want to see how I do it, where I get these bags, how I make my label and all that kind of stuff, I think I'll go ahead and do a video on that. Point is though, again, we sent out the email this morning. I didn't even mention I had these. They were just there as available on the website. 2 of the orders that came in today had this as an add-on. It's an extra $8 for 10 minutes worth of work. I need to get this firewood up the road, so thanks for hanging out with me for a little while today, guys. I appreciate it. If you got questions, comments, feedback, gripes, concerns, whatever, you leave those in the comments and I'll address what I can. See you on the next video, guys. Bye-bye.